Hello everyone. I'm sorry that I didn't announce that I would be broadcasting this morning, but yesterday, I think it's from jet lag or something, but I was coming down with a slight cold, so I didn't know if I'd be up for broadcasting, but I decided to just go ahead and do it because I have a card that I made for the Thailand 2017 incentive trip. And it's my swap card that people were asking me about. They were saying, how did you make it? So I'm going to show you how to make this card today, and hopefully it'll be a quick video. So I'm going to turn the camera around right now and put you down here so that we can see what we are doing. Okay, I'm going to move this over slightly here so I can see comments. Hopefully I can see your comments. If I don't respond while I am broadcasting, it's because, first of all, I just realized I forgot my reading glasses, and I'm at that age now where I can't see things very close up, but that's okay. Hopefully you can check out my card and ask questions if you want to, that sort of thing. I can always come back and answer those questions if I need to. So this is the swap card that I made for the Thailand incentive trip. And again, like I was saying, there were people that were on the trip that were saying, how did you make it? So I'm going to demonstrate that because it's really hard to explain this just in photos alone. This card, by the way, was inspired by someone on my team. Her name is Verla Carpenter, and she gave this as a swap card for a swap a couple months ago, and I loved it. It's similar to those Waterfall cards. I don't know if you've seen those before, but they have like 3 flaps. But this is just one simple flap, and it pulls down, and you can push it back up again. Hey, Faith, thanks for joining. Okay, so let me show you the measurements. We need some pieces here. We need some cardstock, and the cardstock that you'll be using to duplicate this card will be the Early Espresso, some soft suede, and some crumb cake. Good morning, Michelle. Thanks for joining. This is also some paper that you'll need. This is the Wood Textures designer paper, and then we're going to need some copper foil paper as well. So let me pull out all the pieces that we'll be using for this card. I've already die cut a couple pieces for us from the copper foil, and these are from a bundle that you know, if you haven't seen this yet, you are going to fall in love with it. You just go on Pinterest and look it up. This is the Colorful Seasons stamp set that coordinates with the Seasonal Layers dies. I have one of the dies off here. This is the one. I was going to just demonstrate here. This is what you'll want to do. When you die cut this really intricate leaf, you'll want to use the die brush because you can't get all those pieces out without this little brush here. So that'll just brush out all the little tiny pieces. Okay, so I'm going to move that out of the way because I already made a mess and we don't need that anymore. But that's the die that's missing in the bundle here. So I purchased the stamp set and the dies for 10% off. So you can get them here in the US for $54 when you combine them. And they are shown on pages 146 and 147 of the catalog, the annual catalog, with really bright colors. But I changed the colors up for my card. So let's go ahead and look at the measurements here. For the base of the card, you'll just need your basic 5 1/4 by 4 1/4 sheet. And if you'd like to, if you want your card to fold on the inside as well, sort of like how Verla's did. So she's got this flap, and then she also has it so you can open it up. If you want to go ahead and do that, then you would cut this piece to be 11 inches by 4 1/4 instead of 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. So I'm going to remove that because we won't need that anymore. And then the piece that layers on top is going to be 5 1/4 by 4, and we'll just stick those together really quick with some Fast Fuse adhesive. I'm really loving the Fast Fuse. If you are still a snail user, that's fine, but this is so strong, and once you get the hang of using it, you're going to fall in love with it too. So here is the 2 layers that we need for the base of the card, and then these are the next 2 layers. This piece is 4 3/8 by 3 1/8, and you can just take a screenshot. Go back to the video and screenshot this so that you can get the measurements, because I do not have them written down on one big piece of paper like I usually do. This piece here is 4 1/4 by 3 inches, and you can use either side or any sheet in your Wood Textures designer paper. But I'm going to go ahead and use this one because I think it works well with the copper. So we're going to go ahead and tape that onto this piece here. Okay, now this piece I'm then going to punch with the classic label punch. So you'll just open it up, and you always want to use your punches upside down because then you can see where you're punching. and you're just going to center it like this and punch away. Okay? All right. Now I'm going to push that piece aside because I want that to go on a different card that I'm making, and I'm going to pull in this piece. I've already cut this one. I know you're wondering why, but I decided that this one, here, let me explain. This one, I want to just go ahead and put directly onto the early espresso. So I'm going to do a card like that after the video is done. And this one is exactly the same wood texture piece, so I thought might as well make it exactly the same. So we've got our piece for that ready to go. And then the other measurements that you'll need for the flappy parts will be the 2 3/4 by 2.5 inch piece, and that's the one that goes right on the top of the card. Then you'll need for the inside, here, let me show you those here. For the inside, you'll need a couple pieces like this, and I just layered some more crumb cake onto some copper to just add more copper into my card. So this piece, the smallest one, is 1 3/4 by 1 3/4, and the other one is 1 7/8 by 1 7/8. So just slightly larger. Okay, let's go ahead and combine those together. So far, I'm doing okay here. My cold, I was really worried that I'd be sniffling while I'm doing this, but hopefully I'm sounding okay. Okay, so we got that piece ready to go. We are going to stamp on this. So we're going to take this right now, get some ink, early espresso ink, and we're going to use a slightly different stamp from the set because I wanted to show you the versatility. You can go ahead and use, you know, any kind of stamp sets in here, but I love the sayings that come in this stamp set. The Colorful Season stamp set. So we're going to be using the Life is a Beautiful Thing and the Thinking of You. Okay, so we'll go ahead and stamp that. We're going to put it up towards the top. I always mount my stamps a little kitty wampus on my blocks because that way I'm not relying on using the stamp block edges. Whoops, keep that open here. We don't want to rely on the edges of the block for centering on our paper. Instead, I'm looking right at the image the whole time. And then on the flip side of this, I'm going to go ahead and ink up the Thinking of You and stamp that down in the lower right-hand corner. Okay, move those off to the side. Now this piece is the one that does all the magic. You'll want that piece to be 6.5 by 2 inches, and we're going to score it right now with our paper trimmer at 2 inches and 2 3/8 inches. So peel that, post it off. So we're just going to bring it right into our trimmer, move the cutting blade away. By the way, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but I always mark my scoring blade to say score on it. That way when I have classes going on or people are using my paper trimmer or I'm forgetful, I will make sure, you know, that I won't cut my paper accidentally. So this one, which gets changed quite often, I never write cut on it, but this one I write score on. So, because you kind of keep that on there forever. You don't really need to replace that one. Okay, so I scored it again at 2 inches and 2 3/8 inches. And that is going to be on the inside portion of the card, and this part is going to be the part that pulls down. So now we need to take another punch that we have in our supplies, and this is the Scalloped Tag Topper punch, and we're going to go ahead and punch the end. So I pushed it all the way in, and we're going to punch the end of that. And now we have those pieces all set up and ready. So the way that these work together, this is really fun here. Oh, I have to grab the some tape here, some other tape. This is the tear and tape adhesive. So adhesives that you will need for this will be the Fast Fuse or Snail, the tear and tape, and then I'm also going to be bringing in the fine tip glue pen. So you'll want to have those supplies with you. So this piece here, or this tape here, is going to go on the back side, which I already did on this one, of this piece. So you'll want to do all 3 sides because you want this to be nice and strong. And then the other piece that it's going to go on is going to be right here. Okay? We need it here. We actually need it in 2 spots. Grab my paper snips. So you'll need a little piece here, and then another little piece is going to go right underneath this edge because that's the part that attaches to the card, and we do not want that to leave the card. So we're going to bring it right to the edge, like so, and snip it off. Okay, that is the super strong adhesive. Okay, so now I think we are ready to assemble. So let's go ahead and take the base of our card and this piece. And we're going to peel off, if we can do it. Oh boy, Rachel, your fingernails are too thick. Let's see if we can do it with the scissors. And I bet a lot of you are saying, oh, if I could only be there and do that for you. I should have maybe started these before. There we go. Okay. So this one can get tacked down, and you can slip in your strip here after we're done. So we're going to go ahead and just tack this right down in the middle. And then we're going to slip this through like that. And we're going to tape this piece down. Now, I believe when I did it, let me make sure here. I believe when I did it, I had, just want to do it right. Okay, I know what I did. Okay, so watch this. Here we go. We're going to peel this off. We're going to do this one first. And we're going to fold it flat. Okay, so the shorter piece is on the front. We see the tape at the top. We're going to flip this piece over, and we're going to put it right close to the edge. That way this piece will be centered. So it's almost to the edge, but not quite. You can see still a little bit of crumb cake there. And we're going to press it down. And now we can go ahead and peel this off and slip this in. And we're going to center this. And it lines up really well. If you use the exact same measurements, it will line up really well. There we go. So now we have our flap that pulls back and forth. Isn't that awesome? And we've already stamped this, so we don't have to worry about having to stamp it on a bumpy surface. This can be added to the front. And this is basically where I was thinking a person could sign their card, because if you're like me, I love making the cards, but then I have trouble coming up with the words. So I always, here, let's turn it this way. So I always like to have just a small space. I can just sign my name then. I'm so much better at making the cards than coming up with the words, especially sympathy. Those are so hard. I think it takes me about a half hour just to write out a sympathy card. But you know what? They are appreciated, so we want to make sure we are doing them. Okay, then we'll use the fine tip glue, and we're just going to add a little drop of adhesive on the back of our leaf here, and maybe a little bit in here. You don't need too much, because you want that leaf to kind of pull away from the middle of the card and not be tacked all the way down. That's why I didn't do the whole adhesive sheet trick. Some of you know what that is, where you take and put the adhesive sheet on the back of your paper before you die cut it, and then your whole thing is a sticker after you've cut it out. But I did not want this to be all stuck down. Okay, and then this piece is going to receive our little tiny leaf. It looks like, if you do it in red, it could be part of the Canadian flag. Love this little maple leaf. And that's just going to tuck out just peeking out like that. And the last step is just to use some of the linen thread. And I'll demonstrate how to do that quickly. It's very easy. You're just going to go right through this hole here. And then you're going to bring the two ends together. And you can trim this later if you have too long of a piece. But it's better to have too long of a piece than too short. Thanks, Amanda, for joining. And then you're just going to do an overhand knot like that. Okay, just an overhand knot, and cinch it as you pull so that the knot stays pretty close to the hole there. And now we have that finished mini waterfall card. Yay! So let me flip you back around. So again, thanks for joining. I hope you enjoyed that card and got some great tips from it. And I'm going to go ahead and post this on my blog tomorrow so that you can see how to do that again if you didn't catch the whole video. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.